welcome back to another big exclusive podcast. I'm excited to be here tonight. It should be a fun show. I got a new little setup situation here. Shout out to Don, executive producer. Normally I have a monitor, right? And I be trying to look at the, viewers and pay attention to the monitor. He got it on the big screen on the television tonight. So now I got to kind of look up. It's a big widescreen TV. I'm liking this. I don't like the fact that it's HD and I didn't shave my head. Oh, everything else is good though. Welcome back, man. It's another episode of the Big Exclusive Podcast brought to you by our wonderful sponsors. I swear to God, I love these people. If it had not been for them, we would not be here tonight. I'm going to start it off with one of my favorite sponsors. That's Bestie Booth. If you have an event or a party, wedding, reception, bar mitzvah, birthday party, baby shower, any type of event you can think of, and you want that 360 video cool look that's going around that's real hot right now, make sure you holler at our family over at Bestie Booth on Instagram. Shout out to Bestie Booth. Shout out to iCraftMart. That's www.icraftmart.com if you want to pick up some skincare, anything for the skin, hair. If you got eczema, you can pick up some great stuff. They even have 99-cent digital books over at iCraftMart. So if you're interested in the keto diet or specific diets, they have diet books over there, 99 cents for the digital copy, instant download. You don't have to wait for anything to ship. You download it right after you pay your 99 cents. Go check it out at iCraftMart.com. Another sponsor. This sponsor has the exclusive, big exclusive podcast merchandise. That's Epic Graphics and Crafts. Epic Graphics and Crafts has the exclusive deal for merchandising at the Big Exclusive Podcast. So if you want a big exclusive mug, hat, duffel bag, t-shirt, sweatshirt, hoodie, whatever you want, you can get it over at Epic Graphics and Crafts. So salute to everybody over there, Epic Graphics and Crafts. We also have Critical Shot Studio. If I look good or if I sound good, you can blame that on Don over at Critical Shot Studio. He is what I like to call a painter with audio and visual. We got some new segments coming. I'm excited for you guys to see them because he edited those and they look pretty damn good and sound pretty damn good. So shout out to Don for always being, an expert at what he does. And if you need him to do anything for you, like those events I was talking about, he can shoot the photos. He can also shoot the video. If you got a music video, whatever it is that you want to do audio visual, holler at Don over at Critical Shot Studios. Last but not least, Shea Harmony. Shea Harmony offers all natural products for the body with their whipped body butter being the most exclusive item. Shea Harmony's whipped and scented shea butter is sure to keep your skin smooth, moisturized, soft, and it'll soothe any dry, cracked skin. And it'll also leave you smelling amazing. Amazing. Shea Harmony also offers natural soaps, beard and hair oil, essential oil remedies, and more. Shea Harmony products can be purchased at iCraftMart.com. Shea Harmony, bringing harmony to your skin. Shout out to Shea Harmony. It's just about that time for us to give away some more Shea Harmony stuff. So I gotta, reach out to the owner of Shea Harmony and make sure we get some more whipped and scented body butter or beard oil, whatever it is. I heard she's coming out with some new products, so I'm super excited for those new products to launch. Speaking of new products, major shout out to my daughter Cameron, owner of Low Exclusive Bakery. She went in, she made a couple dozen of each. She had like a chocolate chip and an oatmeal raisin, and they completely sold out in one day. So big salute to all my friends and family and strangers who supported my daughter in her new venture. I'm super proud of her. Look her up on Instagram. That's at LIL Exclusive Bakery, Lil Exclusive Bakery. Super proud of my other daughter, Kayla, Maywide Cosmetics. She has about 6 new products she's launching. I can't wait to have both of them on the show because we're going to do a kids takeover in the new year. So somewhere in January, there's going to be a show dedicated just to the kids. We're going to let the kids come on, talk about what they want to talk about, and just have some fun, man. Everybody who knows me knows how much I love my girls, and I just want to make sure we put the spotlight on them, right? And if you guys have kids, we just going to have just a play date, just a grown, long play date with the kids on one of the podcasts. That'll be a special. All right. So it's that time again. Shout out to all our sponsors. We super appreciate y'all. We got people checking in who tuned in early. I must say, if you are tuned in right now, doesn't matter if you're on YouTube, Facebook, if you're listening to the audio right now, just ignore it. Just ignore this next message. YouTube, Facebook, I need you guys out there sharing the live right now. Share the stream with your friends. Tag your friends in the video or in the live. Bring them in. Tell a friend to tell a friend that it's them again at the Big Exclusive Podcast. I feel like we're going to have a really intense show tonight. I don't really know. You never know with the Big Exclusive Podcast. Like, you just don't know what kind of night it's going to be. But I'm excited to, be here tonight. And our topics are pretty intense. So I hope the show lives up to it. Let's show some love because at the Big Exclusive Show, we do not have fans. We don't have fans of the show. We got family. So if you tune into the Big Exclusive Podcast and you commenting and you engaging and you sharing a laugh or a serious moment or you participating at all, we consider you family. Jabera, first one on the check-in with the hey, hey, hey. Eat the Cure Wellness. Good evening. Christine Reynolds with the hey, hey, hey. She clapping it up. And Jabera say, hey, oopty. Where's Big Roll at, man? Big Roll is normally here by now, pulling up his chair. I'm sure he'll be in tonight. If all is well with him, he'll be here tonight. But the Big Exclusive Podcast is not just me. I got to bring in the other brothers that make the show what it is. Because if it was just me, you wouldn't tune in. So I got to bring my brothers in. Comedian Top Flight just got a message from Flight. He's stuck and he won't be in tonight. I'm sure he'll try to pop in at some point, fingers crossed, but he had an emergency situation. So if he can pop in, he will. If not, it's me and the world famous, the most intense podcaster on the planet. Y'all like to call him Angry OG. I like to call him Boo. Niggas scary like ghosts. Angry OG, what's up with you, man?
What's happening, man?
Quick question. How was your weekend, man?
Come on, man. You might as well skip over that. You know what I'm gonna say.
What you gonna say?
It's just 2 days.
Just 2 days. Hey,
Yeah.
what's up with that? That first of all, that hoodie's flavor. That
This was,
hoodie.
this was my Halloween, John, man.
Technically for you, that could be all year round.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that
It's got the
hoodie is
Halloween little stuff on there.
little cobwebs, little spiders.
Yeah.
Yo, I like that, John, bro. I really do. I really do. Dawn on the check-in. Hey, Dawn, y'all guys sharing the live. Make sure you share the live. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my weekend. Spent my weekend at part of it at Restaurant Depot. You been in Restaurant Depot, bro?
Not in a while.
Not in a while. Yo,
No.
Restaurant Depot is like shout out to Kitty. She was our business spotlight feature. Kitty on top, bartender services and mixologist. She hit us with the hey y'all. So I went in Restaurant Depot because Cam just she's going through this what do you call it rebranding where before she was just selling the dry mixes and she will continue to sell the dry mix. So if you want the brownies mixed and you want to make it yourself or the cookie mix, she has that available. But bro, when I tell you Restaurant Depot is like a football field long, and I've been there before, but what struck me this time going in there is how much money they making in Restaurant Depot. So if you own a restaurant, this is where the restaurant shop. The average ticket now, my ticket wasn't this. I think my ticket was like $400 and something. But the average ticket was like $5,000 for every customer that went through. And the line was going up the aisle and wrapping around. First of all, I hate going in there because it takes too long. It just takes entirely too long. But the deals are there. You buying in bulk.
Yeah.
Shout out to Victor Newman in the building. Smoke with the Yizzo. You got to be from down the bottom to hit somebody with that greeting. Yes, but you. What's the second part to the Yizzo?
Dickhead. No, Cannon. It's just old Cannon.
This old dickhead. The fucked up part is that's true. Both both answers are absolutely true. Both answers are absolutely true. But I was looking for the Lord, the canon part is why I even asked. Um, but bro, you ready for the show tonight, man? We got some dope. We got two dope guests for our business spotlight, and I kind of want to jump into that before we get into the more serious. You
Like,
know,
where he at? Making a citizens arrest somewhere?
Flight is definitely making the citizens arrest somewhere. Dad, I wish I would have told you about that before we came on air, because I definitely wanted to get like you an update of what he had going on. But he dealing with some serious shit right now down at his job. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Years old Cannon. That's what I mean. You got to be from down. And look, Splash is all the way in the ATL right now. And matter of fact, since he commented, like, um, his screen name is Splash, right? Splash though. That's not I know his real name, but Splash is not what I know him as. When we were coming up, when we were growing up, shout out to Mama Glow. His name was Saint. And I've watched Saint not only mature, but like mature and prosper and succeed. And what he's doing, his way of giving back, is he out there giving some positive game to the people. Um, Let me make sure we got that loaded up. We got that loaded up, Don. It's in your inbox. All right, we're gonna get you to load it up. Oh no, that's no.
Like five
I
bucks
can't
a
see
month.
that. That's on your screen. Like my screen is the same, but I'm not sure which video you're talking about. No, not that one. That's the serious one. No, you gotta up look like go in your inbox on Facebook and upload. I sent you two of them this morning, bro. But how do I know which is which? TW. All right, perfect. There it is. All right, so what I'm getting ready to play for y'all is a snippet of what my man Splash or what I or who I like to call Saint. Yeah, it's the TikTok KLTW, right? All right, is a clip of what he do on his Instagram, and if you wanna follow him, right, I'm gonna pop his comment back up there. If you want to follow him on Instagram, it's at Splash though. It's all one word though. You know how Instagram don't allow you to separate it, but it's at Splash though. Look just like that. But I'm gonna play a snippet of what he does on his Instagram and how he's choosing to give back to his community. Take a listen.
Hey, stick to your guns and fight. Stick to your guns and fight. You do not give up. You did not visualize yourself losing. So when things are not going your way, you don't pull out. I woke up this morning, I looked at my crypto, I looked at my stocks, they are down a lot. But I'm not pulling out. Same thing with your dreams and aspirations. You visualize yourself winning. If things go down right now, you invested all this time and this money in it, and you pull out, now you lose. You giving them away. I'm giving them my money if I pull out right now. Same thing with your dreams. You giving your time and your effort to the universe. You just giving it away. You do not pull out. You keep sticking to your guns and keep fighting. Things are gonna go your way because you visualize it that way. You've seen it. You've seen what it ends look like. You've seen it up here with your third eye. My third eye seen it coming.
So that's just a little snippet of what my guy Saint does on his Instagram. That's at Splash though. It's spelled exactly how it's saying. I'm gonna bring the comment up one last time because I need y'all to follow him That's at SPLASHDOE on Instagram. Get that daily inspiration, motivation, and them jewels he be dropping. Like you heard in the video, he does futures investing, crypto, and real estate. He's super heavy into the real estate down there in Atlanta, and I've seen up and close and personal what he's able to do, and he shares a lot of his how his flips and what it takes to be able to do what he does right there on his channel. So if you need some game about flipping houses or crypto or just some motivation, like I go to his page every day now just to hear. It's almost like hearing the word. I go to his page every day just to get that motivation because I know him and I know where he come from because we came from the same place. I know what he been through and I know what it took for him to kind of like turn his life around and be doing the things that he's doing now. And I'm super proud of Saint or Splash though and all the work that I'm super proud of his mom too, Miss Glow. I'm super proud of both of them, man. I wish them nothing but health, wealth, and prosperity, and a long, long, long life. Saint deserve it, Miss Glow deserve it. I'm proud of him, and just follow his journey, man. Everybody can use a little motivation here and there. Um, with that being said, we're gonna push the show right along. Um, here's what we're gonna be talking about this week. We got the
Yeah.
Gooch TikTok video of the week, top 10 snacks of all time. I know they're gonna go ham on the top 10 snacks because everybody likes snacks. Fuck what you heard. Your wish list and vaccine proof to dine in. But before we get to any of the topics, I want to take this time out to introduce our business spotlight. Today in our business spotlight, we have a married couple, Tianna and CJ. They're gonna come in and tell us about their business, what it is that they do, and they also have, you know what I mean. They came prepared. Let me just say that they came prepared. So let's welcome in. Let's give them a big exclusive, warm welcome to Tianna and CJ. How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
We're good. How are you?
We doing pretty good on the podcast. Right quick, he said, "Doe, discipline obtains excellence.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, that's real
Discipline
good.
obtains excellence." See, this is type stuff you're gonna get from every day on his Instagram. So make sure you follow him. But more into our business spotlight of the week. Tianna and CJ, I want to welcome you guys to the Big Exclusive Podcast. I want you guys to introduce yourselves and tell the people out there a little bit about your business.
Okay.
What?
You want to go?
You can start.
All right. So, like you said, we're CJ and Tianna. We own multiple businesses, but I think the two that we'll focus on today will be Just Love Creativity, which is primarily run by my wife. I assist and invest, right? And it's a apparel, custom tumbler, wine glass, you name it. Anything that you can stick a name, logo, or a thought on, she makes it. And that business has been running for what, about 3 years?
Four years now.
About 4 years. 4 years. And then another business that we run is Just Love Images, which started off as a photography business and then eventually evolved into more of a videography business that has become pretty lucrative very quickly. So it's been a great journey so far, and we're looking to continue to expand upon it and hopefully, eventually, pass it off to our children.
Yes, generational wealth.
Yeah.
Oh, and the photography business is Just Love Images.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, all good. So let me ask you a question. Photography, how has the pandemic impacted your business?
Oh, it's been a hidden blessing, right? And I'll tell you why. Most photography businesses suffered throughout the pandemic because of the fact that a lot of gatherings were being canceled. A lot of photo shoots were unable to be held because people had to separate in order to keep themselves safe from the virus. That being said, during the pandemic, I really shifted my business and used it as an opportunity to evolve and shifted it more towards videography that did not necessarily require people. So I started to focus primarily on real estate photography and videography. I started to focus on commercials or digital advertisements. I started to focus on things like words are escaping me right now, but I started to focus again all of my attention in ways that didn't necessarily require me to have people there. And in doing so, my business became much more lucrative because now I'm able to do more work faster at a higher rate. So it actually ended up being a blessing in disguise. And to be quite honest and to be quite frank, I actually don't take weddings and photo shoots anymore. I've almost exclusively moved over to non-people related photography and videography endeavors.
See, that's some boss type shit. He said, I don't even do weddings no more. Because I remember when I was doing photography, I mean, the weddings were the big jobs, the big money for me.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's
They're also
also
the most stressful, though.
It's also the shit that made me retire as well.
Yeah, exactly.
The
Exactly.
weddings are the shit that made me put that camera down and say, fuck it, I'm not doing this no more unless it's for my kids.
Yeah. Shout out to all the wedding photographers out there, man. I think people don't necessarily appreciate all that goes into that space. It is so much more than clicking a button and capturing an image. You're capturing somebody's memories. You're responsible for somebody's data. If you miss that first kiss or you miss that moment, you can't get that back.
Nope.
And bridezillas are real. Please know that bridezillas are real.
Made me retire my damn camera. It's a true story. Shout out to Darnell over at DSQ Photography. Darnell, stay booked, stay busy.
Absolutely.
But every time I call him, he was like, all right, big exclusive, what you need? I got you. I'm gonna slide you in here. You just gotta come a little early or you gotta come a little late, but I got you.
Yeah.
Shout out to my friends, man. I always say I got the dopest friends ever, man. And I'm super appreciative of all my friends. With that being said, Tianna, with the what's the name of it again?
Just Love Creativity.
Just Love Creativity. Now,
yes.
Is there limitations on how creative I can get with the language on my custom apparel or Tumblr? Okay.
No limitations, no judgment. Listen, put whatever you want on anything. It is what it is.
Yeah. We just have to give the disclaimer that Just Love Creativity does not represent or take accountability for the thoughts or beliefs or views of any of our customers. We are merely the facilitators of their dreams and visions.
See why I keep him around? He be on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm gonna have him start writing disclaimers for the goddamn show because Lord knows we gonna need them tonight. We gonna need them tonight. Don, our executive producer, said he's also a photographer and videographer. He does really great work. I can't wait to show it off. One day he's gonna load up some more of his stuff so I can kind of like throw it in the mix. But he said people don't trip as hard as they used to. COVID kind of helped tone down the dumb stuff. I don't believe it. You know what I mean? I'm still not going. I'll pass that off before I take another wedding. Big Roll. This is our official, unofficial co-host. You know what I mean? He runs the comments. He's the co-host in the comments. Big Roll Jones sneaking in, trying to be as quiet as possible with my chair, whispering hugs, ladies. Daps to the fellas. Big Roll, we thought you kind of wasn't going to show up tonight, bro. I was kind of disappointed for a second, but I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you know, in your duty and in your role as co-host in the comments to get this joint lit. So, CJ and Tianna, you're in a unique position, right? You guys are married, correct? Mm-hmm. How does being married and trying to cooperatively run a business affect the business and or your marriage, if at all?
You got it?
I think we can both handle it, honestly. Yeah. I don't think it has any negative impact on it. Honestly, it's been very positive. For me, just starting a business, knowing what I wanted to do, and just continuing to grow. A lot of what I do filters through him, and we just kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and we have each other like, hey, this is what I want to do. Or if we get done with something, it's like, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think of the quality of this, and things of that nature. So I think it's been great. It's honestly helped us be even closer than we already were. If I didn't even think that was possible, because we were already best friends, but now we're best friends that are also business partners, that are also husband and wife. And it's been great. It's been great. I have no complaints whatsoever.
I would agree with her 100%. I think the thing that I would add to what she said was that, marriage is a partnership, and business also is a partnership, right? I think one of the things that has been the foundation of our lives as far as our businesses are concerned, we're partners first. This is not my competition, right? I'm not trying to compete with her to have the better business or the more lucrative business. We are building an empire together, and that has to be at the forefront of your mind when you're trying to build something, specifically with family members or your spouse, right? It has to be clear what the goal is. We're trying to build something that not only will allow us financial freedom and allow us to, gain our freedom from corporate America or any of the other things that we're involved in that we don't necessarily want to be involved in, but also to potentially pass on something to our family and to our children, which is the most important thing to us in this world. So I think one of the things that's the key to having a successful business, particularly as a couple, is staying rooted in the fact that you're partners, not competitors. Absolutely. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong.
I'm gonna say I believe that because just a quick background. I met you guys at Darnell and Kitty's Friendsgiving this year.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say you guys are going to come back because we got some stuff we need to talk about. But tonight it's all about the business spotlight. So one of the things I run into as an entrepreneur is that sales aren't always going as expected, and it frustrates me sometimes because it's not always consistent, right? And I'm gonna tell you what happens to me because I have multiple businesses, and the shit just downright gives me anxiety. Because if I'm being honest, if I don't make a certain amount of money a day, I just freak the fuck out. Like I just freak out. I start doubting myself. Like, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? Do you guys go through some of the same things? And is it easier because you guys have each other to fall back on than it would be alone?
So we're in a bit of a unique circumstance in that regard, right? One, we didn't just start one business at a time. We set up multiple revenue streams relatively early in our marriage, and that was strategic because of the fact that we didn't want to experience that anxiety that you were just alluding to. So because we have multiple revenue streams at all times, there's never really a situation where it's like, oh man, this particular business is struggling, or this isn't going the way we wanted it to, and it's now going to have an impact on our household. I am allergic to broke and I am allergic to anxiety. Those are two things I have to stay away from at all costs. So that being said, the first step for us was, how do we secure the bills off rip? But so if nobody buys anything or we don't sell anything, how do we secure the bills off rip? Whether that be through investments, whether that be through jobs, whether that be through any other secure and consistent revenue stream, that had to be in place first. We build the businesses off of the back of that foundation. And the reason we do that is because if you have to worry about how you're going to pay the bills, well, you're not going to be as creative. You're not going to be as innovative. You're not going to be as focused on evolving your business and doing what all businesses need to do, which is solving problems, right? If you start any business, if you're not solving some type of problem, you do not have a business. So in order to be your best self, you have to free yourself from worry. So Step number one, anybody who's trying to start a business, if you don't know how you're going to pay your bills, you're not ready to start that business. If you're dependent upon that business to pay your bills before you've even started it, you're not ready to start that business. You need to put yourself in a position where you have the capital to invest in it, and then slowly and surely, brick by brick, expand that business in a way to where, as you know, the rule of thumb that my father gave me: if your side hustle ever makes you half as much money as your real hustle, it's time to get rid of your real hustle and dedicate yourself to your side hustle. Because if you're able to create half of your income part-time, well, if you dedicate yourself to it fully, you can take it to a whole nother level. And you probably don't need that other resource the way that you thought you did. So we've kind of tried to operate under that model. And because of that, we don't have those same fears or that same agenda that anybody else has in business. Our bills are paid, if we stay in the bed tomorrow, the bills are paid, right? The business is for the future. It's for expansion. It's for more, not need.
Well, shit, I'm doing it wrong. Cause I'd be damn if I'm gonna punch in for anybody else ever again. I just like I told the story before, but long story short, I worked at the University of Pennsylvania for 8.5, 9 years. And then the suffocation kicked in, and I was like, yeah, enough is enough of this. It's been some extreme lows and some extreme highs.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's all
learned
part of the journey.
Yep.
right. And I've
Yep.
learned to stay level no matter what based off those experiences. Now, let me ask you this. Do you feel like, because I know running multiple companies, and I'm being honest with myself here, is I don't have, because I'm not dedicating 100% of me all the time to that specific business. Do you feel like, or I personally feel like, once that business suffers, and my businesses go through peaks and valley, ebbs and flows.
Mhm.
Some businesses, like, you know what I mean? Like now, this time of year, the skincare, moisturizer, so like that business is, taking off, right? Um, the other businesses, the wine, it's kind of like slows down.
Yep.
Mhm.
So for me, it's ebbs and flows. And I feel like if I took the time, and I have this thought all the time, but then I look at the income generated by each, and I'm like, all right, now I'm addicted to the money. So I can't like, I have a hard time delegating, especially when it comes to my business, because those are my babies, right?
That's my problem.
And I don't want to hand they're like my daughters at there. Like I gave birth to them. I don't want to hand them off to just anybody. Like the Loud Trees junk, the reason the launch was delayed on that because I wasn't releasing it until it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And it speaks for itself now. And the people have
Yep.
spoken. It's perfect. Well,
Yep.
in my opinion. And the people have been responding the way I wanted them to respond.
Right.
Now, did it drive some people crazy? Yes, it drove me crazy. But the question I'm posing here is, with multiple things going on, do you ever feel bad, or do you ever think that because you're not dedicating 100% of yourself to one particular business, that is hurting the other businesses across the board?
Can I take this
Mhm.
one? So I think you're absolutely correct. It's the jack of all trades, master of none theory, right?
Yep.
Where if you try to do a lot of different things, you're going to do them well, but not necessarily the best or your best, right? Because your brain can only accomplish so much when it's not focused. But I like to look at it a little bit differently. And I remember a quote from the CEO of one of the companies that I worked for that resonated with me when he said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, take a team. And I look at business the same way, right? If you want to build
Can
a
you
business,
stop right there? Can I just
Yep.
stop you? Run that shit back one more time with the CEO said.
Yeah. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, build a team.
Solid. Keep going.
Yep. So I look at business the same way, right? If we wanted to build one business and take it to its absolute peak of potential as quickly as possible, then the best way to go about that would be to focus 100% of your effort on just that one business and not build any other business until that one business is exhausted everything that you or is at its peak, right? And it's functioning as designed, and then you can step away. And I'm not saying that that's a bad tactic for other people, right? But I almost look at our businesses like a basketball team. If you look at a basketball team, there's 5 guys on the court at any given time. And you also got a second unit, right? Everybody knows that you might have a star player, but every once in a while, that star player is going to struggle. Maybe he's sick. Maybe he's distracted. Maybe he just ain't hitting his shot that night. That's where those other players on the team come into play, and they're able to fill the gap for that star player when you need them to, that can still get you some wins. And at the end of the day, I'm all about the win, not necessarily the stats, right? It's when we look at our bank account at the end of the month, is it bigger than it was the previous month? I don't necessarily care how it got bigger, right? I'm not focused on, well, Just Love Creativity is the one that's really the moneymaker, because that could change. Just like you said, businesses are cyclical, right? People aren't buying, t-shirts are flying off the shelf in the summertime, but they're not flying off the shelf in the winter, right? Same thing. Houses. I might do 5 or 3 to 4 houses a day during the summertime. And then, during the winter or in early spring, it might start to trickle off a little bit. And if I didn't have those other either facets of those businesses to rely on or other businesses to be able to shift my focus to, well, now I'm just in that rut with that business because I can't pivot. And I think that's, if I had to give a message to anyone in business, regardless of whether you run one business or multiple businesses, you have to be ready to pivot at all times. If you stay locked in on, I sell shirts or I sell makeup or I sell this, well, as soon as that stops selling, you sell nothing, right? You need to be able to say, hey, I sell these things, but we also have these other products that, you may also be interested in, or we have these other methods that we can employ to be able to generate income when those things aren't working, right? So that's the way that we look at it. We look at our businesses like they're a basketball team, and sometimes more than one is hot and we blowing it out. Sometimes everybody's struggling and it's that bench player that we forgot about that comes in and saves the day and gets everybody back on track. So, we've decided to play the long game here instead of the short game. The short game would be focus on one business and try to get it as lucrative as possible. We're saying we're going to play the long game on multiple businesses. And even if they never reach their full potential, there's so many of them that they stack up into like Megatron.
I like that, bro. I really like that. Let's get to some of our family in the comments. Kitty said, "Yeah, laugh out loud. You all how does laugh out loud? You all must we making it Friendsgiving. I don't know. Kitty
Put the coquito down.
Right, it's the strawberry Hennessy.
The strawberry Hennessy coquito.
But I get what she's saying. Yes, yeah. Friendsgiving should be quarterly,
and Kitty, we should. Yep.
And Darnell, yes. Big Roll had a question. He said, "Given y'all business partners, do y'all schedule sex like Take It Tuesday and Freaky Friday?"
We don't, man. Like
that is funny though.
Yeah, that is funny. But no, our life comes first, right? And again, this is a luxury we have because we're not dependent on any one of these things in order to be able to pay our bills. So our life comes first. Like neither of us work on, or I don't work on Saturdays for nobody. So that being said, like Saturdays, even if you could call in and say, "Oh man, I got this job, I'm paying you, 10 racks." I'm gonna say, "Well, can we do it Sunday?" If we can't, well then I just miss out. And I have the luxury of being able to do that because I don't need that money, right? But I need her, I need my family, I need my children, I need my life, right? Those are the things that I need. So the other thing that I would say has helped us is money, because we have when you don't lack money, you don't care about money as much. As they say, having money ain't everything, but not having it is. So setting that foundation and making sure that you have enough at all times allows you the freedom to say, I don't got to take every dollar that comes across my plate.
Listen, I hear all that. I ain't turning down 10 racks though, bro. My motherfucking family gonna have to understand that one day I'm taking that dime.
And know that I would understand.
Yeah,
because I do work on Saturdays. I unfortunately have not been able to separate myself totally yet. Because my business is me creating, so sometimes I might get an idea and I gotta go run and I gotta go do it and I gotta get hands on, and I literally get stuck in my space for forever. And sometimes I come upstairs and it's daylight outside and I'm like, oh, oops, like I ain't mean to do that. So I have to be more like him and setting those boundaries when it comes to our time, because most times he has to pull me.
Darnell dropping jewels. Once again, shout out to DSQ Photography. He said every year the lows get higher and the highs get higher.
Yes.
And that is an unequivocal fact, bro.
Yes.
Absolutely right about that. Camilla, in reference to the drink, she said, oh, it does, Shannon. I'm going to need some more stuff. She got access. She know. She can get it all the time. Darnell says you can pivot within the same business. Wedding photography goes down this time of year, but family goes up.
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Yep. If you need, this is the time to get those family portraits in, people. This is definitely the time. And
that's real. So like even for my business, I, like he said, the sales start going down with t-shirts, but what ended up happening is I ended up making tumblers. So when the t-shirt started slacking, the tumblers took off. And then in addition to that, when COVID hit, I was like, well, ain't nobody buying nothing now. People losing jobs left and right. So I ended up creating an account on Etsy to try to, get some more income from there, since I figured the website wasn't going to be doing as good anymore. And so what I started doing was also selling my designs that I was making and putting on shirts and tumblers on Etsy. So that's the way I had to pivot with my business. Like I have that passive income that's on the side. Like people can go and buy my designs on Etsy and I don't have to do anything. Like it's automatically downloaded. That's a whole nother stream of income on the side. So even if I'm not doing anything physically, then I have something else there.
Kitty said, I am sipping. My bad. This is a great show, Pete. Big Rose says, there's a certain amount of time you give an unsuccessful business before you shelf it.
That's a really good question.
That's always a good question, because ultimately, as an entrepreneur, we sometimes don't know when to shoot that dead horse. Because like I said earlier, we birthed that baby and we believe in it so much that we want to at least say we did everything that we could.
Absolutely.
And more to try to make that business succeed. But sometimes, and when that is, it's there's no, I guess the one indication would be as if it's costing you, if you stay in the red way longer than you ever are in the black, it's time to put it down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you guys the last word on, because we got to move on. It's quarter of now, and I could talk about this all night, and you guys for sure will be back. Can you guys stick around for some other topics?
Yeah,
absolutely.
No doubt.
All right. So before we move on to the next topic, I'm gonna need you guys to give them your social media information, websites, and how they can follow and support your business.
So for Just Love Creativity, we are on Instagram and Facebook as at Just Love Creativity, which is JUSLUV CREATIVITEE. I will put it in the comments. I know it's a lot. I'm extra, y'all. The website is the same, www.justlovecreativity.com. Also, real quick, I'm going to be in the comments. Everybody that commented tonight, I'm going to put y'all into a raffle to win a shirt from us. And I will just take all the names, I'll put it in the raffle, and then I'll come back into the comments and just note who won, and then I'll contact you for your size.
Wait, what does the shirt say?
It says black mixed with a lot. Shea butter, coconut oil, collard greens, hot water cornbread.
Hey.
It goes all the way down. I have to send you one, Shannon.
Hey, that's dope. Stick around. What we're going to do, the transition, we're going to play We're gonna play our TikTok video of the week, and then we're gonna head on to a serious topic. We're gonna talk about this situation. Trigger warning. We're gonna CJ, you want to do the disclaimer for the because we're gonna be talking about that situation that happened in Beemore. You want to do it since you're
Yeah,
so eloquent with it. Hit them with the disclaimer, and then we
yeah,
going into
yeah.
our
Here at the
TikTok video of the week.
here at the big exclusive podcast, we support free speech, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we agree with every statement or every belief that every guest or co-host or host may make. Same thing with Just Love Creativity and Just Love Images. While we are on this podcast and we will gladly participate in any discussion, we don't necessarily advocate for or accept responsibility or accountability for anything that is said by anyone other than us.
Talk that shit. And I think the TikTok video of the week is very fitting. We were just talking about weddings, and this is the last stop before this train goes to Heavy Town. Okay. Check out Big Exclusive Podcast TikTok video of the week.
You can't see it. It's electric. You gotta feel it. It's electric. Ooh, it's shocking. Down, down, do your dance, do the Cupid chain. Down, down, do your dance, do your dance. Down, down, do your dance, do your got a brand new dance. Down, do your dance, do your dance.
Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah. Wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, baby, wobble, yeah.
I thought it was fitting.
Absolutely.
Because we was talking about weddings. But I saw that earlier. I'm like, yo, that is true. That is 1,000% correct. That's exactly how the wedding go down. Aunt Mildred sat down by that third one. Her knee and her hip is hurting. You know what I mean? So she need to take a break. But it's that time of the show. It's time for us to get this train rolling down this track, man. And I'm super excited to talk about everything tonight. But I just want to keep in mind there are some trigger warnings here. And if you are sensitive to murder, suicide, we're going to ask that you do whatever you need to do. And I don't want to tell people to cut off or leave, but just keep in mind, like CJ said, our opinions are ours, and we believe in free speech, and it's something that's being talked about across the internet. And we wouldn't be a podcast, or at least a responsible one, if we didn't talk about it and offer our opinions on what's going on. So with that being said, we're going to play something for you real quick, and we're going to come back and we're going to discuss it. Y'all ready?
For everybody out there that supported me and really knows what's going on, thank you all. I've been going through a custody battle. I've been going through having my ex-wife say I molested my children and all kinds of craziness. Been fighting for custody for 3 years. So, shit has been real crazy. What's up, Oliver? You know about this. Going through it with my ex-wife, blah, blah, blah. So, and started dating somebody new, and she got pregnant, and we got in a fight. And first thing she does is threatening that she's going to do the same thing. You're never going to see your kids, blah blah blah. It's the holidays, man. I don't have no family, nothing. Anyway, I just did something crazy, man. I just shot my ex-girlfriend in the head, yo. Felt like a dream. Like, I never thought I would be that guy. I can't go to prison, so the person that really started my depression and all of this is my ex-wife. So she next, and then I'm going to do myself too. But I just wanted to say this to people. Don't play with people's emotions, man. Don't lie on these men. Oh, here's my ex-wife right here.
Wow. Wow. It gets more and more chilling every time I watch it. So I'm gonna go to the art. I'm gonna read a little bit from the article. And this comes from the Baltimore Sun. Police said Rajay Sharif Black, 44, fatally shot his ex-girlfriend Tara LeBang, 41, inside a home in South Baltimore. He then traveled to Columbia and gunned down his ex-wife Wendy Natalie Black, 42, police said. In between the killings, Rajay, who is from Hanover, stood outside his former wife's apartment building and said in a Facebook Live video that he just did something crazy. Then he says he shot LeBang in the head and that it felt like a dream. He said he planned to kill his ex-wife and himself. And that's exactly what happened, people. I see the comment section is going crazy right now. I personally have a few thoughts, but I'm interested to, hear from the angry OG. You've been chilling and I know you've been patient, bro. Um, what are some of your thoughts on, this video?
It all goes to somebody's mental health. And like he reached his breaking point. He went through what he went through, with the custody battle with his other kids, and knew he was ready to go through it again. And he didn't want to go through it again. That's the way he chose, to go out. And anytime you lie on, like you lie and say that someone is molesting their kids, like that's crazy. Like why would you do that? Like what did you gain from that? Saying that man molested, if he didn't molest his kids, why would you say he molested his kids? And then you never know how far somebody will go. Like you can't dictate how far somebody can go if you do something to them. You can't. It's not a line that's in the saying that he can't go across that line. Like because you never know. Like you never know. And the catalyst for his depression was what happened with his ex-wife, and then the new girl was saying he's not going to see his kids, and he went through what he went through. Now I don't condone what he did, but like you can't play with people's emotions, man. You never know. You never know. You don't know people's breaking points and what they'll do when they reach that breaking point. And he reached his breaking point. He did something that he never thought he would do. He never thought he would do that. He didn't think he was made like that. But he went through what he went through, and he didn't want to go through it again. And that's the way he chose to go out, which is I mean, I don't condone it, but that's why you don't play with people. You don't play with people emotions, man. You can't do that. You can't lie. Like you can't lie on someone. If he didn't molest his kids, why would you say he molested his kids?
Yeah,
Like
bro.
what do you get out of that? Like first of all, what do you get out of not letting somebody see their kids? Like kids need both of their parents. If y'all not together, like he can still see his kids. It don't sound like he was crazy or tripping. He was lucid. He was calm. He spoke well. It wasn't like he was no crazy maniac and he gonna harm the kids. You like, why did you do that? Like, why wouldn't you let that man see his kids? He was like a nurse, anesthetist or something like that. Like, so he
Yeah.
like
Yep.
like why would you do that? And like the man said, it's the holidays. He don't have
You
no
don't have
family.
no family.
He feel like he all alone in this world. So why live like this? Why go on? Why go through what I went through previously again? It's crazy, man. Like you can't do stuff like that and then act surprised how far somebody eventually went after that happened to them. You never know. Like you never know somebody's breaking point and what they'll do when they reach it.
So
And I know he got friends and family that say right now, I don't think he will ever do anything like that. He's not even like that. But you don't know when somebody reached their breaking point, what they'll go.
yeah, I think that's a thousand
He
percent
was a
correct.
broken man. He was broken.
Yeah, and I could say this, right? Because I've talked about it with CJ and Tianna. OG and I, we talked about it, and a couple things kind of like stood out to me. I, as a girl dad, right, when I hear about somebody doing something, not just to little girls, I'm only speaking from that perspective because that's my current situation. I have two daughters, and I try to put myself in this man's shoes. And let me start by saying that the accusation didn't give him the right to murder two people. Right? Let me get that out the way. It's nobody's responsibility to kill anybody in the past, that type of ultimate judgment against another person. I know it happens every day. We see what's happening in our, beloved city of Philadelphia, as far as the murder rate. The point I'm trying to make is I do not condone him murdering these two women. Now, when I try to put myself in this man's shoes as a girl dad and thinking that, wait, I'm going through these custody situations monthly, right? And then this particular month, the accusation is made that I'm molesting my daughter. And there's no way for me to realistically put myself in that headspace. But logically thinking and thinking about the type of person I am, and for the people who know me, and a lot of people in the comments right now know me personally, and they know how I feel about my daughters. I can't imagine that accusation being levied against me and me not responding with some sort of ferocity.
And,
First of
and
all,
the thing is, she said that to just win the custody battle.
now,
Like you said that to win the battle, because ain't no coming back from that. Like you can't be if you molested these kids. There's no way in the world they're going to allow you to be around these kids. So you just went for the win, and you stooped that low to go for the win.
and see, I can't unequivocally say that it was a false accusation. But what I can say is the accusation alone in the climate that we currently live in with cancel culture is enough to destroy that
You can't
man's
come back from that. There's
entire
no coming
life.
back.
You
There's no
cannot
coming back from
it
that.
like the accusation and the publicity that the accusation get on every news station and every news cycle between traditional media and social media and gossip is unconscionable, right? It's such a massive machine. But when the truth comes out, that shit is a
It's
blip
on the back page.
and a back page of a bullshit blog. That's it. Case in point, the guy who was accused of extortion in the Kevin Hart case. Remember, we heard about that shit for a week straight.
Mm-hmm.
He was just completely exonerated. Anybody heard it?
Nope.
Nope.
Because
Anybody
that's not what people are
anybody heard
interested
it?
in stuff like that. That shit don't sell.
The sensationalism of an accusation of that magnitude you cannot recover from. There's no institution, especially in the medical field, that's going to allow you to continue employment with such a highly publicized and vulgar and insidious accusation against a
Against your
kid,
own children.
against your own children at that. So when I try to think about, and here's the kind of like midway past the midpoint of the spectrum. If it is a lie, what happens to those accusers that make
Nothing.
those false statements?
Nothing at all. Nothing. Because they allowed to lie, and those lies have destroyed people,
with no
ruined
repercussion.
people, and there's no repercussions, nothing. They just go about their, their regular walk of life, however they was living, uninterrupted. Now you are destroyed.
Case in point, and I go back to the example: the gentleman who was accused of extortion in the Kevin Hart case, he was in the middle of shooting a movie when that happened. He was fired from the movie. He was fired from every other hosting gig or whatever gigs he had. He was nothing wrong with driving for Uber, but he was driving for DoorDash and Uber to make ends meet, living in Los Angeles. And I'm gonna tell you, Los Angeles is probably one of the most expensive cities. And
Listen, you ain't even got to go that far. Like I got into a regular fist fight in Kensington, and the guy almost 3 months later went to the cops and said I beat him in the head with a crowbar.
damn,
They came and arrested me. I had to pay 10,000. My bail was $100,000 for a fist fight. I had to pay $10,000 to get out. I had to get a lawyer and go through all that shit. That shit destroyed me. And guess what happened to him?
what?
Nothing.
Nothing. Damn,
Nothing.
that's fucked up. So, Tianna and CJ, I want to get your responses, but I just want to take a second because our family is just as much a part of the show as we are, and I want to get to their comments. Darnell spoke to something you had mentioned. He said, "Is it mental health?" I felt like it was him. I felt like I was him a few years back. It's emotion.
That's mental health.
Yeah, but see, I think it's a mental is a huge mental health aspect to that, Darnell, because that was almost the behavior of a psychopath, because he was void of
Yep.
emotion,
He reached his breaking point.
and he
And when
yeah,
you reach your breaking
cracked.
point, there's no telling how somebody going to act when you reach your breaking point. Like it's no telling.
Big Rose said, "I know we got a free pass to have our opinion openly, but I'm a little hesitant about mine right now. Real talk, Big Rose. I understand. Sometimes you need to take a step back, look at the overall picture, form an opinion, and if you want to share it, by all means, share it, bro. The platform is just as
It
much
just, it
yours."
just that story is just sad. Like that's the kind of
Um,
stuff that's happening.
Dawn said, "If it wasn't for little bit, would be in the same spot when people are in their emotional moment, what they are capable of." Jabera said, "You cannot play with people's emotions. You can't determine the or breaking point because a person themselves don't know their breaking
Don't
point.
know what they sell because they never
Stop
reached it
playing
before.
with people." Summer
Never
said he's
reached it.
a nurse anesthetist. Jabera comes back with it's a sad situation. There's another component to this that's even sadder that we haven't even got to
The
yet, and
kids
I
was in
think
the car. Did you know the kids was in the car?
I just found that out.
The kids
Not
was in the
judging.
car.
It's just so much to be said about this. Da, da, da. He said, Jabir said he said it himself. He never thought he'd be that guy.
Yeah.
Big Rose said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna say it." Not judging the brother, understanding we all deal with things differently, knowing we all can't handle when shit get hot. He was selfish for taking himself away from his kids, and besides the kids,
And now
big
they don't have a mother or father.
right.
And why?
Iris said it's sad what happened. Like he said, don't play with people's feelings, especially these days. The things going on in this world today is very stressful. A lot of times people don't take you serious. Everything ain't no joke, yo, and that's a fact. Katrina said, so now these kids don't have their mother or father. Christine says, I understand that he loves his children, but how much did he really love them? He left them to be orphans, and also look at the trauma they're going to have to deal with for the rest of their lives. That was selfish of him, but again, you never know what people are going through mentally. It's heartbreaking on every level. Big Rose said the devil gonna fuck with you from every angle in order to break you, knowing you have to be here for your children to protect them. You keep fighting. I don't agree with the way he went out. Katrina said, "What if he did molest one of the kids and he couldn't handle it because it got out? Why would he want to take himself away from those kids, knowing they don't have their mothers? You never know." I agree, Katrina. That's definitely the flip side to the coin. Jabira said, "Yep, they got untouched." Summer said, "There has to be repercussions for people that lie." I couldn't agree more. Ira said, "I believe when women falsely accuse a man of rape, their reputation, I believe they should lock them up or
Nothing
lock up
happens.
the false accuser." Yeah.
Nothing happens. And that's a nasty lie to tell on somebody. That's a real, like, you can't come back. Like, that's the worst kind of, the worst thing you can do is violate somebody. Like,
Anthony Morris said, "And showing more emotion towards the loved one who means more than ever them their happy place." Smoke said, "It's a problem with black folks who don't seek therapy." I agree. Tianna, CJ, I want to get you guys' opinion on this.
Whew, it's heavy. It's super heavy. We talked, like you said, we talked about this yesterday. First of all, our condolences to everybody that's been impacted by this tragedy. Most importantly, the kids. Like, I can't even imagine what those kids are going to have to deal with, growing up from now on without having either of their parents, especially with, being in the car. Thankfully, they were not, the article that I read stated that they were not able to see anything. They weren't like near the entrance, so they didn't know what was going on. But just I can't even imagine. I really can't even imagine. So it's just a tragedy all the way around. Mental health is real, and to one of the comments, it's something that Black people don't like to talk about, unfortunately. And seeking therapy is looked down upon, and it's important. It's very important, and people need to be able to openly speak about what it is that they're feeling, because that stuff just gets bottled up and eventually you blow, and you really do not know when you're going to blow. It's like I said, it's tragic. I'm a mom of 3, and I can't even imagine my children not having us. I couldn't. Like, we have a great support system that we know would be there if we needed them to, but just to know that we wouldn't be here for them in a tragedy like this that they would have to live with, I can't even imagine what that's like.
there's nobody like your parents.
Not at all.
Like,
Yeah, no doubt.
nobody like your parents.
I
Nah,
want to make sure I touch on a couple of the things you said exclusive. Like, one, I'm a girl dad too. I have 3 beautiful girls,
hey,
and I agree with you 100%. I mean, my biggest fear would be to be accused of something like that, because it's heinous, right? And
right.
to your point, you can't come back from that. I mean, it's in the back of my mind so much that I'm extra careful. Like, I don't even want to be in situations that could even potentially look like certain things. I actively avoid situations and circumstances that could
What,
potentially be misconstrued into that.
wait,
Um,
with your own girls,
yeah, no doubt. Because at the end
bro?
of the day, sometimes even with your own, I mean, it's such a touchy subject, and you got to remember that type of thing is in the eyes of the person who sees it, not necessarily yours, right?
Yeah,
So
that's
like
their
you know,
perspective or
yeah,
perception of
their
what's happening.
perspective of that particular situation. You know what I mean? Like, things that you do when your kids are young, once they become, adolescents and teenagers, you got to shift away. You got to shift those things. Like, the way that I hug my daughters, the way that I touch my daughters, period. I'm
Like,
always
they can't
mindful of
sit on
how
your
I
lap
do.
no more. Like,
Yeah,
Right.
like, yeah, I don't
But
do those
can
type
I
of
just
things.
say I'm not even cognitive of that. Like that proactive mentality that you have. I don't have that mentality. I only know how to be one way with my girls, right? Now I understand that uh they get older, and like you said, adolescence, their body changes, and people can perceive whatever it is that they want to perceive.
so your kids are still real young though.
Yeah, see, and
They're still real young.
I
Like,
think that may be why, but I can't in my mind imagine been proactively worried about how I interact with my girls.
It ain't how you ain't worried about it, but it's just some stuff you just can't do no more.
Yeah,
That's all.
I don't want to use the word worry, right? But
It's just some stuff that
definitely
you
you're
can
more
no longer do.
mindful of it. You're more
Yeah.
cognizant of it. It's something that you think about. If if I say if you're careful, I'm one of those people that I try to be very careful about everything that I do because to your point, there's certain situations I know I never want to be in, right? Like I never want to even allow myself to get to the point where I'm close to my breaking point. You know what I mean? I don't want to know what I'm capable of in those types of situations. So I try to actively avoid putting myself in circumstances and situations that could even lend itself to that. And here's where I'm going to lend probably an unpopular opinion. First and foremost, like my wife said, shout out, my heart goes out to those children, to the families, to the individuals that lost their lives, including the person that took their lives because he took his own. And, I've always felt like the most dangerous people on the earth the most dangerous person on the earth is a person with no hope. When you look at that video, you saw a man
He
that
had
had no
nothing else
hope.
to lose.
Yeah, he had no
He had
hope.
nothing else to lose. He was broken.
Yeah, and when a person reaches that point, all of the restraints that you naturally have as a human being, they go out the window.
They're gone.
Right? Like, to be quite honest, if it wasn't for fear of loss, there would be way more killers in the world. There would be way more thieves in the world. There would be way more people perpetrating, things that we see as wrong today. It's our fear of loss. It's our family. It's our love. It's our hope that we still have a chance for a better future that stops us from doing a lot of those things. Because if it wasn't for that, almost every fist fight would result in a death. Because who would stop? Who would let up if it wasn't for those things, right? So I want to make sure that we first acknowledge that people lost their lives here, and that's important. But there's a couple of things that stood out to me about this issue. One, you have a man that in two separate situations with two separate women in two separate cities somehow ended up in the same situation. The common denominator there is him. Yeah. Right. And I'm not trying to, speak bad on the dead, but I think, we have to, as men, we have to take accountability for our actions. If I end up in the same situation with one woman in one city and another woman in a whole nother city, there gotta be something I'm doing that's contributing to that. I'm not saying that what those women did was right. Let me be clear. You can be right and wrong both in the same situation, right? He could have been being wronged by those women, but then you could also argue, well, why do you keep getting yourself in situations with women where they constantly lying on you? Are you picking the wrong women?
Because it don't start out that way. Yeah. It don't start out as a lie.
I agree, but as they say, where there's smoke, there's generally fire, right? And you generally don't see someone,
but you don't see smoke from the beginning either, though. Huh? You know how it is in the beginning. It's all blissful in the beginning. You don't see no smoke.
I agree. It's blissful in the beginning, but we see signs. We see red flags. Everybody, you can always see like little things that say, I might need to watch this one, or I might need to tailor this back, or I might need to, like I said, I think at the end of the day, for me particularly, I can't speak for anybody else. I always start with self. Even if somebody's doing something to me or wronging me in some way, the first thing I got to start with is, how am I contributing to this situation? Am I totally innocent? If I'm not totally innocent, I got to deal with me first. Once I deal with me, then I can deal with you, right? Because I got to take personal accountability. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it does seem a bit strange to me that he has two different women in two different cities, but they both did the same exact thing. Something ain't right there. You know what I mean? Like something ain't right there. And I'm not saying that what they did.
So why can't it be that the second? Why can't it be that the second one knew what he went through with the first one and figured, well, I'll just do the same thing and hurt him in the same way that the first one did? Why can't it be that?
That's very possible. Yeah. Very possible. But that also says
women when they are in their feelings can absolutely be very vindictive.
That is absolutely very true. Vindictive. But that also speaks to he probably has a type, right?
And he does. If you see the women, they are very similar to each
Exactly.
other.
They probably
Yeah.
he probably has a type, and he also mentioned the fact that that situation was explosive with the ex-girlfriend and with the ex-wife, right? There's some egos in that. There's some anger and emotions in that. There's all kinds of things in that. And again, we don't know the full story, right? We're assuming, let's be clear, we're all assuming that the accusation was false, right? We don't have, none of us can prove that accusation actually was false. And I'm not saying that it wasn't.
So are you inclined? So are you inclined to think it was true?
No, I'm not saying I'm inclined to think it was true, but because I'm not inclined to think it was true doesn't mean that I absolutely believe it wasn't true either.
No, you
Right?
just
Like,
I speak on both parts, if it's true or if it's false.
Yeah, I'm
And
basically
from the comments, it was people that knew him that I read comments from that personally knew him that make me glean from the comments that they was false, that the accusations was false.
Let me be clear. I'm not saying that they weren't false. What I'm saying is I have to keep my mind open to the fact that they could have been. I'm not saying that I'm leaning one way or the other, to be quite honest. I'm just saying we're making a lot of assumptions based off a limited amount of information that we've been given about this situation, right? And I'm, again, as a father myself, like I said, I can identify with the thought or the thought of someone accusing me of something like that with my girls and the potential ramifications of that. I know that could allow a person to reach their breaking point. And like I said, once a person reaches that level where they no longer feel like they have hope, it's a wrap, right? But I think in this situation, like we talked about yesterday, Big Exclusive, like I don't think this was the path he ever intended to go down. What I think was he was upset. He and the ex-wife got into ex-girlfriend got into an argument, and he lost control in that argument. And once he shot her, once that gravity hit him, that there's no coming back from this. I'm done. I've finally done something now that I really can't get back from, because a custody battle, as difficult as it may be, as uncomfortable as it may be, as much of a fight as it may be, you still got a chance there.
Not when they left that accusation. He had no leg to stand on with that. He had no leg to stand on if he got accused of molesting those kids.
Here's some undertones that I took into consideration, which I believe you can't come back from, and he really didn't have a win. Number one, he was black. Those two ladies were not black. I don't know what they were, but they weren't black. He's a black man in the judicial system with that allegation levied against him. No, I don't. I just can't see him having a chance in hell. Because in the most ideal situations where a man is the ideal father, mom can be a complete. This is no disrespect to moms, but if this is your situation, you know what I mean? It is what it is. The mom can be a complete piece of shit, and mom will still get full custody or split custody or majority custody of that child. Now, you take into consideration that he's a black man. He has a great job. He has good income. I don't know what kind of father he was. What I do know is, and this is just an educated guess on my part, he said all he had was his kids. He didn't have any family. The holiday season was here. We all know that the holiday season is the most depressive time of the year for people with mental health issues. It's the highest rate of suicide. The highest rate of suicide is this time of year. So with that being said, being a black man in the judicial system or family court, it wasn't even the judicial system, I'm sorry, family court, with that allegation levied against you by 9 people of color, I felt like his chances of winning, or I felt like he was at about a 2.5% chance.
His chances of winning was slim and none, and Slim just left the building.
So let's look at that. Let's say his chances of winning were 0.1%, right?
Okay.
When he made the decision to kill his ex-girlfriend and kill their mother, his chances went to 0. There was no chance, right? And so it's about. I totally get that it was
He
difficult.
wasn't even logically thinking when he decided to do that, though. Like you
I
said,
got you.
he
I
was
got
he
you.
was
But
done. He wasn't even here no more.
I got you. But I think that's
Logic went
part
out the
of
window.
that's that, and I get you. The logic went out the window. But at the end of the day, and again, I'm speaking to men, right? I get it. Let me be clear. I get it because I have daughters myself. There is nothing in this world more important to me than my little girls. So I get it. But I would look at it. I would look at it a little bit differently. Let's just say somehow I was in this situation and I got accused of this, and my daughters got taken away from me, right?
Mhm.
Let's which would be the most devastating thing that could possibly happen to me. Again, maybe I'm different, but the way I look at it, I'm a forward thinker. I'm gonna look at it and say, okay, I lost custody. I may have even lost visitation, but I didn't lose their life because they turn 18 at some point. When they turn 18, all that shit goes out the window. All that family court shit goes, all the custody shit goes out the window. They are now put in a position where they can make their own choices. Now, I know some people say, well, what if they were 3? What if they were 4? I get it. But if you kill their mother, you'll never see those kids again. Ever. You have no chance. You will
Everything
never
that you
see
just
them again.
everything you just iterated was done while you were speaking logically.
And it was,
Agreed.
but see, and
So
I think that's what you
do you
missing.
think that he was logically thinking when he decided to do that shit?
No. But I think that's my point, right? I think as men, specifically black men that I'm talking to right now, like if I know I have an explosive temper, or if I know that it's certain shit that I'm just not going to be able to rock with, it's up to me to do whatever I need to do to keep myself out of those scenarios. So
But
if
you
I
said
know,
yourself, you don't know your
I'm
breaking
not
point.
going to my ex-wife's house knowing that I want to kill her. I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? Because I know
I
I don't
think
even want to tempt myself like that.
I think um, from a very logical standpoint, you're making some great points. Hindsight, right? I think. Let me ask you this: have you done things that you never thought you would do in the heat of the moment?
So I know this is going to sound false, but I can honestly say no. And
You a
the reason
unicorn.
why I say
I'm gonna
no,
have to call you a unicorn then.
yeah,
No,
I got you.
no,
And
I'm gonna have to call
that's
you a unicorn,
let
bro.
me
that's
explain.
bullshit. That's
give me
I'm gonna have to
bullshit,
call
bro.
him a
Can I
unicorn.
explain?
Here it is, and I'm gonna tell you why it's bullshit, right? And because at Friendsgiving we had a conversation, and this goes to, and we're gonna talk about this later because you guys are most certainly coming back because
Yeah.
I love your story. Um, yeah, I can't wait for y'all to hear this shit. Like, but you had made, and I'm not giving anything away. You had made a decision early on, right? And I hope I'm trying to say it without saying it, but you, CJ, had made a decision early on, right? And that was it for you, right? Do you think that decision you made? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna type it in the private chat. The
Yeah.
audience can't.
Because I'm trying
The
to figure out what
audience
you're talking
can't
about.
see it,
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly what you're talking about.
but because I think I think that was an emotional decision that happened in the heat of the moment, and then you realize something, and everything changed, and it was different. Because the point I was trying to make is most people make decisions in the heat of the moment that they later on regret. Right? I've made horrible decisions in the heat of the moment, and I regretted it. But at the time when I made the decision, I wasn't in my right state of mind, and it had absolutely nothing to do with anything that inebriated me. It didn't have anything to do with drugs of any sort, alcohol of any sort. It was what Darnell has said earlier. It was acting off pure emotional responses to the stressors that were going on in the moment. And I think that is a very human thing to do. Now, but it's levels to that shit.
Yeah.
I just made a stupid decision, and I did something very stupid that I had to pay for later, right? we all pay for that stupid emotional decision later. But there's levels to it. He just so happened to be at the far right extreme end of that spectrum with murder. Well, double murder, suicide. Like, it don't get no worse than that. Right?
Maybe I should. I think I appreciate you. I appreciate you breaking it down that way. Maybe I should re-clarify myself because I
And we
agree.
asked you in the simplest terms, though, like, and you said no.
But let me be clear. Maybe I was looking at it the way you were looking at it. I'm like, nah, I ain't never done no crazy shit.
No,
like,
we're not talking about you acting like commit the act of violence or nothing like that. Like,
so maybe that's why. And like I said, maybe that's my bad for misinterpreting your statement because of the fact that I was looking at it like, nah, I ain't never done no shit that could have
I ain't never shoot somebody when I got mad. Like,
yeah, like I ain't never done no shit like that. But to your point,
yeah, no, I didn't
to
expect you to be out here murdering people, bro.
Yeah. But no, I'm with you. Like I do think though, again, going back to the accountability factor, right? Like, because we like to. Right now, we're in the age of mental health, right? We're in the age of people talking about all the things. Everybody got a reason for everything that they do, and I get it. I'm not trying to sit here and say that we're not human, that we don't make mistakes, that we don't have feelings, that we don't have emotions, all of those other things. I think my point is the things that happen to us do not automatically justify our actions. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, they did something to me, so that's why. No, like, you still making choices. You're still making decisions. You may not necessarily be making those decisions with all of your right mind. You may not be making those decisions totally focused or totally logically or any of those things, but you're still making decisions. You're still choosing to do something in those moments. And I think people got to start taking accountability for, look, yes, they was fucking with him. Yes, that was a bad situation. Yeah, all of that shit was wrong. He chose to murder them. That's still a choice. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you on mute.
I'm gonna bring this comment up on screen and let's welcome Top Flight into the show. That's our brother, our other co-host, comedian Top Flight. Flight, say what's up.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
How's it going?
And you sound like you in the Matrix, bro. But Don made a good point to what you was just saying. He said the moment he thought he was out of options, he had zero chance of anything going his way. The scenario has played out in his head a lot, probably every time he clashed with either of them. Because to Don's point, he had said, like, yo, you know what I mean? I'm gonna kill this man. And at the end of it, like, CJ, you brought this to my attention at the end of the video. What did he say?
He said, today's the day.
Today's the day.
Indicated that he threatened to kill her before. She just never thought he would actually act on it. But that subject has come up before.
Splash though said he already said fuck it before he went there. He knew.
He knew he had it on his mind when he went there.
When a man's mind is made up, there's nothing you could do to stop him. Big Roll come back and said, I think at some point in their lives, Tianna and CJ Jackson have dressed alike in the same sweatsuit. Once you do that, y'all bond is unbreakable. That was out of left field.
Yo, that was wild.
But I think ultimately, it's an extremely tragic situation.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to think that we're defending anybody's actions over
I'm just saying that I can see how it could happen. Like, it's fucked up. That somebody reached that point where as though he felt like that's the only thing he could do.
And
like, everybody's not as strong as everybody's mentally when it comes to your mental health. Like, some people are not equipped to handle a certain amount of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, even some people that are equipped to handle it, you catch them on the wrong day, they not going to handle it right.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean, we've all seen examples because, again, it's human nature. We all seen examples of somebody we know and love acting out of character. Like, yo, that's not them. I would never expect them to do that. And I'm sure people have said that about me in a couple instances, like, nah, that ain't Shan, that ain't Big Exclusive. Like I can't see him. And I was guilty as charged because I had reached a breaking point, and emotionally I act out. And just like Ted DiBiase used to say, the $1 Million Man said, everybody's got a price. Everybody has a breaking point. Jabera just said that. Everybody has a breaking point, right?
Yeah.
We all don't know what that breaking point is until
So you
we're
reach,
faced. And
Yeah.
exactly. And
and
then
then they don't tell them what you're gonna do when you break.
Oh yeah.
You don't know what
Yeah.
you're gonna do when you reach your breaking point.
Oh yeah.
and
That's real.
I
I
think
agree.
that the biggest part of this tragedy is those kids who are left without parents, um, because that man took and snapped. And again, I'm not saying I CJ and Tianna will tell you, I kept going back to the fact that it's hard because I don't have a complete picture, an
Yeah.
overall story. It's not a movie that I can go sit down and watch and see character development and see instances where things happen so I can form, an overall opinion. And I
Right.
go back and forth in my head, since, we decided to talk about this topic, since I added it to the topic list, and more details kept coming out. Like when I initially talked to them, I didn't know that the kids were in the car. I didn't know that. So that's something
So
else. And then
he really had to be going to, like, you looked at your kids in the car and got out and still did what you did.
to their
Mhm.
mom,
Right.
to their mom.
Like
Yeah.
you looked at your kids and still was able to get out and do it.
Yeah.
So
And another thing that like we talked about last night, like that CJ brought up, just his tone alone. Typically when somebody is about to commit suicide, or if you see something, or if they leave that
He
message,
was
they want
regular.
people to know, they are emotional, or you see something, and you might even see some type of remorse in them, but there was nothing.
Yeah,
He
he was
was
gone
normal.
already.
There was nothing.
Yeah.
He was
Gone.
absolutely gone.
Hey, Exclusive. Can I offer an interesting pivot before
yeah,
y'all
go
kick
for
us
it.
off? So here's one thing. So one thing that a lot of people may not know about me. I'm a Second Amendment
You a
advocate.
cop?
No.
Insider.
I'm a Second Amendment advocate, right? And I think and I taught my wife how to shoot. I take my wife to the range, right? I make sure that my wife and I are both concealed carry permit holders in multiple states, right? I want my wife at all times to be prepared and ready to defend herself, even from me. You know what I'm saying? And I think for women in particular, an interesting angle to this for women, I guess a message for women is personal safety. Take your personal safety very seriously, right? I carry my gun everywhere I go, not because I have any intentions of harming a single solitary soul on this earth, but only because I never want to be in a situation where someone else has where the decision on whether or not I'm going to remain on this earth is in the hands of someone else. I always want to give myself a fighting chance.
They
And I
probably
think
didn't even
about,
see it coming.
I got you. You may not always
They
see it
probably
coming.
didn't see that shit coming.
She saw it coming though. If you looked at that video, you remember he says, "Here's my ex-wife right here." And she was starting to open up the door and starting to come out. She saw him, and what did she do? She went to close the door and she went to back away. Had she been armed in that situation, she could
You
have
got to
gave
pull it
herself
out
a
though. You
fighting
could be
chance.
armed, but she gonna come to the door with it in her hand.
No, not in her hand. Like again, if you got it on your person, you got it on your person. So yeah, like if you see me and you approach me in a certain type of way, you risk being shot straight up and down. And that's not, again, I'm not advocating anybody harming anyone. That's not what my message is here. I'm just saying take your personal safety very seriously. She had no chance. That man had a gun. He's bigger than her, stronger than her. She had no chance in that situation. She was dead in the water. Had she been armed or had she been more prepared, she could have at least given herself a fighting chance. And that's all I'm saying. Like, is that, you never know where to your point, you never know what's on somebody's mind. You never know when somebody's going to snap. I'm not leaving my life in the hands of somebody else. To your point, you may not always see it coming, but in the instance that I do, I'm giving myself a fighting chance.
All right. You guys, I know you have rehearsal. I'm gonna let you guys go, but not before you give the people the information on how they can follow you on social media and contact you about business. And look at there, look at there.
Yep. So that's Just Love Images for the photography, videography business. I'll go back into the comments once we get off of here and put in the Just Love Creativity information as well. Thank you for having us, Shannon. It's been
yeah,
great.
this has been awesome, man. I appreciate you having us on and just allowing us to be part of the conversation, because that's what makes this this world interesting. We're not always going to agree. We're all going to have different perspectives, even on the same situation, right? The four of us could look at that one situation completely differently, and not necessarily any of us be wrong, right? Because the truth is somewhere most of the times in the middle. So I appreciate y'all even allowing us to be part of that discussion, because I do think it's a discussion that needs to be had for multiple reasons.
Yep, and I agree. And a lot of times, this is how we begin to heal and get a better understanding of one another. Is because at the end of the day, all we ever want to do is come to an understanding so we can respect other people's opinions and perspectives. Because not all, no, what makes us human is that we have the ability and the choice to have an opinion and agree to disagree respectfully,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
As long as we can do everything respectfully. I love the fact that at the Big Exclusive podcast with Angry OG and Top Flight, and whoever else, our whole family who's always in the comments, and you guys tonight, like they'll tell you, man, me and OG had some battles live on the air. That don't change the fact that when these lights and shit go off, I don't call him and be like, "Yo, you good? What we doing? Like, what's the plans for that?" That don't change anything. We mature enough, and our you know respect level is there that it, we don't get disrespectful on air.
Right.
Yeah.
We just respectfully disagree, and it's passionate sometimes, yes. But at the end of the day, the love is still there. And if we can get everybody in the world to that point through dialogue and through understanding that, as long as we stay respectful, we entitled to our opinions, and we can agree to disagree with respect.
Absolutely.
The problem comes is when, we start disrespecting each other, things get personal, and that's when things can go left and get out of hand. I appreciate you guys being on. I look forward to having you guys again.
Absolutely.
She's going to be in the comments. She's putting y'all in the raffle. She's going to let me know after the show who won the t-shirt, and I'll get in contact with whoever it is that won the t-shirt, and we're going to bring y'all back for our, ultimate relationship podcast.
Looking forward to it.
Looking forward to it, brother.
Yes, and
We
hopefully I
appreciate
get to
you.
see you guys again at Friendsgiving soon. Darnell, Camilla,
Yo, just
make
tell
it happen.
Kitty and Darnell I'm glad I'm still on the invite list. I thought for sure I wasn't never getting invited back there. So I appreciate just being on the invite list still.
You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll reach
too.
out and I'll talk to you guys later. I appreciate you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it, man.
See you later.
See y'all later.
Bye-bye. Flight,
Yo,
what's good?
nothing, man. Just dealing with life and thanking God for life.
Yeah, I know you've been through an ordeal tonight. I appreciate you having the mental fortitude and, courage to come on the show after that text message I got, bro. I said, God damn. I thought it was safe. It just ain't safe nowhere, man. It just
Nah,
ain't
bro.
safe nowhere.
It's
But
crazy. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Nah, man. It's crazy. It's just it's real out here, people. It's high. First of all, how's everybody? Hope y'all all are breathing on schedule, and God is blessing y'all because some individuals lost their lives tonight. So may God rest their soul, and pray for their families, man. It's real out here in these streets.
So we got another topic, people. And this one don't get no better. Okay? This one don't get no better. Family, welcoming you into the show. OG, I'm gonna need you to take the lead on this one because we talking about the Gooch,
Yeah.
and it's about to get serious.
Oh, so
And
you don't have the clip then?
the Gooch situation?
Yeah, you don't have no clip of that?
Nah, I don't have no clip of that, bro.
Okay.
I don't have no clip of that.
Well, basically, what it was is I think the guy, he was 18 years old, football player in college. He met someone on Tinder. So they go and they do what they do. The person he met actually paid him $50 to give him some sky. So then when he go back another time to meet up with the person, he found out that it's not a woman, it's a transgender. So when he found that out, he put hands and feet on him, and the guy actually died. So now he got arrested for killing a transgender. And my thing with it is I want to know if the guy, well, if they met on Tinder, if he misrepresented who he was. Like you could say that you're a woman or whatever, or you identify as a woman, but in actuality you can identify as whatever you want to identify as, but you're not a woman, and don't no straight man want to deal, with another man. And this guy was 18 years old, and he obviously didn't want to deal with somebody of the same sex, and and that's the way he handled it. He lost another person. He lost it and beat him to death. So now, you got the you got the Gooch, and speaking on it, whatever, saying basically it was a hate crime or whatever. But I don't think you can call it a hate crime if you put yourself out there for somebody to react in that kind of way. Like, did you mislead who you was to this guy? Did you misrepresent who you actually were?
So OG,
Like this guy thought that he was with a woman, and you're not a woman. Like you got the same, your hammer, you got a hammer just like he got.
I just found the article. Did you want me to read it?
Yeah.
All right. It says a former Virginia Tech football player faces second-degree murder charges for allegedly killing a sexual partner he met on the dating app Tinder after learning the person had been born a male. David Alute, 18, of Virginia Beach, told police he had matched with someone named Angie on Tinder. On April 10th, he visited the victim's apartment in Blacksburg, Virginia, for oral sex. He returned to the apartment on May 31st to engage in sex, only to discover that Angie was Jerry Paul Smith, a 40-year-old restaurant worker whose family identified him as an out gay man. Alute told police he became angry and punched Smith 5 times in the face, continuing to punch and stomp on his face and body, even after Smith fell to the ground. Alute claimed he heard Smith bubbling and gurgling and left the apartment, but never called police. Police later discovered Smith's body inside of his apartment on June 1st. According to the autopsies, all the bones in Smith's face were broken and had several cranial fractures. Smith's teeth were also missing. The medical examiner officer said the cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. Appearing in Montgomery County General District Court on Wednesday. It's that's a T. Itute was released into his parents' custody on $75,000 bond and placed under house arrest and electronic monitoring, according to a release from Commonwealth's attorney, Mary Petit. Itute is also ordered to stay away from Montgomery County except to consult with his attorney or to attend court hearings. Assistant Commonwealth Attorney Jason Morgan has argued against bail, outlining new details about the case based on Itute's statement to police. But Duncan said he saw no evidence that Itute would pose a danger to the community if released on bail. He is next scheduled to appear in court June 23rd. So,
how would you react to that?
here's my thing. Um, and this can get tricky, but it also feels really straightforward to me. Now, if I'm on a dating app and when I filled out the questionnaire on the dating app, it says I am a man and I am looking for women, right? And I'm a cisgender hetero male looking for a cisgender hetero woman on the dating app. And then as I'm swiping right and left, and he swiped right or left, whatever the fuck it is, that means you like somebody, and that person is representing to be a cisgender heterosexual female, and we connect. When we initially start messaging each other, that's the perfect opportunity for that male who identifies as a female that is transgender to divulge that information, because it clearly states that I'm looking for a woman, not a transgender woman, not any other kind of woman, but a cisgender heterosexual female or woman. I don't think we can say female anymore. And here's the perfect opportunity for that transgender woman to identify themselves as a transgender woman. I don't want to hear any arguments about they don't have to disclose, because if that's how they identify, that's how they identify. The problem with making that statement and saying something like that is that far too long, transgender women, especially black women in that community, are victims of hate crime, and the majority of those hate crimes end in murder. So you being a part of that community, knowing that this happens to transgender women on a regular basis because they failed to identify, because someone discovered that they were born a male, you need to protect yourself, divulge that information, because at that point you have a choice. That man had a choice at that point. Now, if he was into that sort of thing, you could have continued the conversation. But if he wasn't, there was an opportunity for y'all to cut ties, not
That's the
talk
thing.
anymore,
Yeah.
block each other, exit stage left. Everybody lives. But when you proceed to continue said potential relationship, and then you enter into an intimate sexual relationship,
He gave him some sky.
right? And then you knowingly, here's where the young lady, the transgender woman, had another opportunity to say, hey, this ain't what you think it is, before that man ever got to that lady's apartment, to say, hey, I was born with the other equipment. Now you can still come if you want. No, how about before I give you my address again, or before I meet you out, or before you get over here again, I was born a man. And at that point, that young man had another decision to make. Yo, either he with it or he not. Now, if he with it, he come over, everybody lives. But if he not, he can cut. Now, again, I can't say with certainty that he still wouldn't go over there and do that. But what I can say is that gives you an opportunity to pause and think about it, cut your losses, and walk away. Because no cisgender hetero male wants to be identified as having relations with a transgender woman solely on the basis of reputation and ego. Again, I do not condone that man killing that transgender woman,
But again,
but I feel like
you never know
cannot,
what somebody will do.
right, and he cannot shoulder the responsibility. Now, again, that does not give him the right to kill the transgender. Let me say it
No,
again. That does not give him the right to kill that transgender woman.
but it gave him the opportunity to do it.
But it gave, because all that transgender woman had to do was divulge the information and say, hey, this ain't what you think it is. This is what it is. If you with it, come on. If not, go the other way. And
What
I feel
happens?
like that.
I think
Go
what
ahead.
happened a lot of times is a lot of them struggle with I guess announcing it or saying it or telling someone. Shit, a lot of them don't even tell their family. It's hard for them to come out. So
But
it still
But
don't
see,
make it right.
here's the
with
thing.
that being said, you could date inside your own community then.
This is what I'm
Right.
saying. I'm sure
Yeah,
they
but
have an app for that
but
community.
that's what
I'm
I was
sure they
getting
have.
to.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
See, the problem I have with that is, one, that young lady lost her life. Like, that's tragic. But I just feel like it could have been avoided.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much responsibility the app developers have. Go ahead.
Or I'm about to say a lot of times, and this is coming from like I have a family member, they tell them and then they still go, and then something happens and they snap and then they lose it. Like we don't know the full story. He
They
might have
just said
told
the
the
story.
boy.
They said the story.
Huh?
He said the story.
Well,
He
that's
said he
from
did.
that's
He
from his
said he
point of
didn't
view.
know.
There has been times when
I don't.
people be like, "Yo, I am a man," and they still show up. You
I
know
don't.
what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
think. I don't. Well, I don't think that if it was going to happen, it would have happened the first time, not the second time. Like why? Why? That was the second time seeing him when it happened. The first time he got some sky, so he had to take his clothes off. So the second time he wanted to smash. So now he got to take his clothes off.
Right.
And now you got dick down to your knee talking about you a woman.
What is called again?
The greatness for dick.
No, you said what's called Sky.
He paid him though. He paid him to give him some sky. He gave the boy $50.
Sky.
The Gooch paid to get the boy sky.
Wait.
No, the football player got paid to get some sky. The boy gave him $50 to give him some sky.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear that part.
It's on the
And
video.
again, but that's what I'm saying. So
who pays somebody to give them sky, as you would put it?
No, he got sky. The guy paid to do it.
That's what I'm saying. Who pays to give somebody sky?
So
That's
that
the
right
red
there,
flag.
that's the red flag. Exactly. See what I'm
red
saying?
He was 18. Listen, at 18, he was 18. Ain't no red flag when you 18. You don't even know what the fuck is going on at 18. You don't know what a red flag is at 18 years old.
Hold on. God damn it.
The kid was 18. What the fuck is a red flag at 18? Everything is a go at 18.
Okay, so you're saying it. If everything is a go, then everything is a go. So how
Not
you
no
gonna get upset?
homosexuality ain't no go. I'm talking about straight shit.
You said everything is a go.
I'm gonna say you might be an undercover gipper, man. Thinking like that. Like any straight man not thinking like that though. No straight man is thinking no.
I'm
We gotta have a meeting.
straight as an arrow, but you also gotta
we gonna have a
understand.
meeting, man.
I have family members that's gay, so I have conversations. I talk about this. It's in my material. So just because it's around me, so I hear conversations. I know things because I listen and people talk. So when you have these type of individuals around you, I have it in my family. It's in my face.
Well, I don't have them around me. So if I'm speaking around a bunch of heterosexual men and we talking about women and men in general, and I say at 18 anything is a go, no straight man is going to think that you're talking about some gay stuff. None.
Okay.
Let's get to some of these comments because we and keep in mind, folks, this our shit, so we can go over if the fuck we want to, because it then got good. Because that's a red flag for me. I think we need to explore that a little more. But like you said, at 18, what the fuck
You
is a
don't
red?
know at 18. What did you know at 18?
I think I was aware enough to know that I wasn't
Right.
supposed to
If
be
somebody
getting
give me
paid to give
$50,
me
right?
head.
Exactly.
Like
And he was
Exactly.
African.
that don't mean he was fresh off the
He was
boat, bro.
African, man. He don't.
That
He
don't
was
mean he
African.
was
Might have
fresh
been
out the
from
boat,
Woodland
bro.
Avenue. You don't know.
Right. And not for nothing, he was on the football team, and you know how football team conversations happen. Like, yeah. Let's get to some of our family comments, man. Jabera says, "See again, different meat, same pot. You can't keep playing with people." Big Rose said, "Details sound sketchy." Jabera comes back and says, "Certain things need to be discussed before intimacy." Like, come on, why wouldn't you tell that? And man, why wouldn't you checking everything? How do you like you tell somebody to strip or send you the money shot, or you just run down? How many people just running down on people, just filming them checking? And then again, no, I can't say that. Uh, let's get to the rest of these comments because Big Roll made a point, and I want to get to that as well. Again, sketchy details. Football star shouldn't have to pay for coochie on Tinder.
He didn't pay. He got paid.
Right.
He got paid.
Summer said this scenario has happened way too many times, and I can't condone killing in any way. But they have to be held accountable for those situations. You have to be honest. Just deal with people that want to deal with you. Everyone has a limit, and clearly he lost it. I think that's a great point. Jabera said, especially because you're 18, you know these transgenders are out here. You have to be on point. Big Rose says, sounds to me like football dude got threatened by a she saying they were going to go public and tell everybody he hit. Football dude got mad. Football dude made the decision to make sure he couldn't go public. Now, I think that's a great theory. I
It
think
was
that
the dude was an old white dude, man. He was a 40-something-year-old white man.
Big Rose said, I've yet to see a transgender woman who could fool me as a woman. I've worked down South Street for 30 years and I've worked in the neighborhood. Sorry, if a dude mess with them, they know. I've seen some online. That would fool you, Roll, because the shit fooled me. Now, again, I ain't had shit to do with them, but I just was, as a matter of fact, what's the website? I think it was Media Takeout. They had the choose man or woman, like side by side, like choose
Shit,
man or
they
woman.
do it on Murray.
Yeah, nigga, look,
Murray had
Big
that
Rose
shit.
said facts exclusive. So many of them have been killed recently because of this very subject. They put it out there up front before anything goes down. Christine said they have dating sites specifically for the see. That's what I said. Great point. Big Rose said, now if a woman don't tell me she a Dallas Cowboys fan until after we do the nasty, then yeah, I'm gonna kick her in the. Big Rose said exactly what Flight said. 75% of what the news report is false. Darnell said, angry old head is killing me. Angry, can you come out with the literature manual that speak frequent OG? Laughing my ass off. Yeah, that Sky fucked me up. Like, when he said it yesterday when we was talking, I'm like, Sky, he gave it. Now I know, I put it together. I ain't have to ask him. You know what I mean? It clicked. But I was thinking either head or dome or fellatio, like something like that. He said he gave Sky. You should come out with a book, Angry OG, your sayings and your lexicon. Christine said, I don't know. I would question anyone trying to pay me to give me some top. That's weird. I agree with you.
But you got to look at he was 18. Like we all speaking
Crazy.
from we speaking from experiences that we had in our age. Like at 18, you don't know what you know at your age right now. You 43, right?
Yes, that is
That's
correct.
25 years ago. You was a nitwit when you was 18.
And I still know that if I wanted some sky, I had to pay for it. If I wasn't getting it from my girlfriend.
It's just like finding a sugar mama. The boy, he was supposed to be an older woman.
So we understood the term and the ideology
He
behind
was an older
sugar
woman, and
mama.
they pay exactly. He was older. He was 40 something. He was old enough to be the boy dad or mom or whatever he purported himself to be.
Somerset angry. You got to stop. Big Rule said, man rule. If there is even a 0.0000001 chance of female sexuality, then you don't hit. Bottom line. Crystal Dominique said, facts, angry. Melanie said, and he probably needed the money. Hey,
He was 18-year-old college student, man.
Cat gonna say you was paying, bro. No, I wasn't paying. I'm just saying I knew at that time, you wasn't supposed to get paid to get pleasured. You know what I mean? Like, I guess unless you was a porn star, but that's not true of me either. Darnell said, white cougars in college, been there. Oh
Yeah,
shit. Oh
that's
shit.
that's the best scenario.
Big Role said times is different nowadays. OG, these kids is fucking at 12, pregnant at 15, grandparents at 19. Times is different.
It don't mean they mentality, they mind work any different though. They're not more knowledgeable. They just into more shit at an earlier age. That's all.
With that being said, man, it's 8:02. Y'all want to keep going, or we want to wrap it up and save some stuff for next week?
You got more comments? Read the comments. If it's more comments, you got to read them.
Nah, I think we got all the comments. I think we knocked all the comments out. I think we got everybody. Big Rose says save it for next week. We only got the two topics this week, so we can save it for next week. The 28th is the last show of the year. And I think we should do like a year in review show, and we should try to get everybody who was on the show to stop by the show at some point and pop in and bust it up with us and talk about their favorite moment on the show that they was on, or one of their favorite things from this past year. We could talk about that behind the scenes, but I think that's a dope idea. I actually stole that idea from Charles and Sparkle over at We Talk Weekly. They invite me. I did their show the last 2 year in reviews, and I came on. Yeah, I did it the last 2 years, but I think it's a dope idea. Bring all our guest co-hosts back, some of our guests back, and let them talk about their favorite part of their show that they was on, or something that happened this year, and just have some fun with it. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but we're not gonna stop our tradition around here. We're down to the part of the show. Big Rose said last show should be 3 hours.
I'm about to say, I'm gonna fall asleep fucking 3 hours. Shit, I'll be struggling with 2.
Darnell said I would have to leave before it gets real as a guest speaker. Laugh out loud. Jabera said tonight was everything as always, very deep. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate our family. But what we like to do on the show each and every week is we like to leave everybody with our individual final thoughts. Doesn't have to be about the topics that we talked about on the show. It can be anything that you want. I look at it as something that can be archived, that can be listened to later.
Well, I don't got nothing to say. I got some platters to get to from my man Anthony Morris. they got delivered, while we was doing the show. So I'm gonna have to get up out of here, man.
Big Role, Crystal Dominique said Big Role need to be promoted as co-producer. Oh shit.
Big Roll freeze when the lights come on though.
Smoke said I need some snacks. Me too, bro. That was I was excited about that shit. My fat gene kicked in when I started to talk about the sniz.
Fully activated.
Fully activated. But we'll get it in next week. We'll get it in next week. Our top 10 favorite snacks of all time. Make sure y'all have y'all's ready because mine's is ready. I already got it typed up. But excuse me, 1 to 2 minutes. Angry OG said he got some platters to get, so that's his final word. So, yo, don't fucking get them platters without me, bro.
He brought them while we was doing the show. When I went off,
I'm
he was
I'm,
at the door with him.
I'm on my way down there.
Yo, it's like 7 platters. I gave my cousin one, my brother one. I'm
That's
in my mom's crib.
all right. I'm coming down there. I'm coming down there. Sit tight. All right. I'm
Oh, that
coming.
should be gone by the time you get here, beloved.
Don't do that. Don't fucking do that. Don't you?
I fucked some fish
Oh,
up while we was doing the show.
I saw Fat Gene fully activated.
Fully activated. They need to wait. Like they seen people eat before. I was about to have a whole platter with the sides and everything in front of me, but I ain't want to tempt you like that. So I just ate the fish.
Hey, listen. The amount of firsts we've done on this show, people would have been cool with it, bro.
Motherfucker saying he ate the whole platter, sides and everything.
Yo, that would have been a clip. People to start talking about this shit like, yo, OG fucking that platter up in the background.
And then the caught itis and went to sleep.
That's fucked up, man. Crystal said my favorite moment is when Summer was cooking and didn't invite everyone. Oh shit. All right. OG don't have a last word, Flight. So we gonna get him down. I'm gonna give you the last word tonight, Flight. So I'm gonna go ahead and say what I want to say, and I'm getting out of here. I am going to leave you guys with this. Mental health is very important, and we know that. What we also have to realize is that we cannot continue to be as mean as we are to one another. Accusations, especially if they're false, should be punishable by some type of jail time or fine or something like that. I think far too many people are being accused of heinous things and they just aren't true. And the accusations is enough to destroy somebody's reputation and destroy their life and livelihood. I think we need to be more mindful of what those type of allegations can do, especially if they aren't true. I think we need to be more kind to one another because we just never know what we're going through or what anybody's going through. And by all means, never, ever ask a woman to smile for you. I'm out.
I guess I'll go to a different route. This weekend I am in Omaha, Nebraska. I've never been there. I didn't even know it was black people there. So I'll say this to everybody watching. Take time for yourself, travel the world, make peace, make love, and be happy while you're doing it. Because this weekend, Omaha, Nebraska, I've never been there, but I'm coming to bring some laughter and some joy to y'all. The show's almost sold out. It's 2 shows. I'm excited. I can't wait. Omaha, Nebraska, I'm coming. Stay busy, stay out of trouble. And God bless, and make sure you pray, not just for yourself, but somebody else. Peace.